Today is Friday, and this is Eunoia, spoken by Elswyth. For many, today is a holiday, so hopefully you get out there and do something fun. Or stay inside and find some fun that way. So, today's podcast, I promise, is completely about femdom hypnosis and the usual whimsical wanderings we sometimes go down. Today I'm reading about the lamentations of so many followers who wrote Superman or perhaps Spider-Man in their homework yesterday. Ed, who offered up Del Boy from Only Fools and Horses, must have been safe. And someone let me know privately that they took on the persona of Wallace. Also in the mail is an interesting note. Let me actually find it so I can read it to you. Basically says, get me so addicted to you first, then increase the prices in the future and abuse me. I've had this fantasy for so long. Well, obviously you missed the memo that I don't play with Findom. Just don't. You know, I love gifts, I love presents, I love all the support that I get from my faithful followers for Spoken by Elswyth because it allows me to have a lot more time to focus on you. But the idea of blackmailing you or begging you, forcing you, instructing you to send me money, nah, there's just no fun in it. If you want to send me money, go ahead. It's pretty easy. Join Patreon and up that patron amount as high as you want it to go. You can go on my wish list. You can send me endless gift cards or shoot, I'm running out of other ways. You know, in my utopia setting, you'd be like, all right now, this Mistress Elswyth has me under her spell and I can't resist. I must learn shipbuilding. And there you would be out in the back garden. Well, not mine because it's not big enough, but out in the back garden with lumber and tools and diligently slaving away on that narrowboat design. Yeah, anyway, I don't get Findom. It's really not up my alley. But if you can find some way to tweak whatever I just said into your internal happiness for it, seriously, just go for it. Okay, what was the other way? Oh, I had a request from David who asked about a vanilla pain relief file. So I went ahead and did that. That will be coming out as soon as it gets edited. It actually is one of my favorites because it's kind of short, but it gives you 3 tools, 2 very deliberate tools to deal with pain. And they work. Even when people know that it's hypnosis and a so-called placebo or whatever else, it still works. So, let's go ahead and prepare yourself. Finding that comfortable position. Are you using the one from March? Or perhaps today felt like an on-your-knees kind of day. Whichever position you're using, because I will leave it up to you today. Go ahead and find the breathing pattern that works for you. I've used different ones throughout Eunoia and throughout our sessions, the private and the public ones. I know that you know what works best, but it never hurts to learn different tricks, does it? Speaking of which, we're continuing our creative persona play. I read an interesting, although dated, study that was published in the International Journal of Clinical and Experimental Hypnosis. I love research. I love evidence. Anyway, it caught my eye, not only because it's about hypnosis, but because of this idea of a secondary personality, or persona, as I'm calling them. So this study took around 80 secondary school students, that's like high school by American standards, and these students were all who were able to enter a deep hypnotic state. Out of these students, 32 were able and 43 were unable to create multiple personalities in hypnosis. So they went on and looked at these groups, the ones who could and couldn't, and did a psychiatric interview and identity examination and so on. And they found that the ones that were capable of producing secondary personalities were clinically healthier and more adaptive than the group without. Kind of interesting. Again, a dated study on a very small group of people, but it's fun to know that somebody dug into this a little bit more. Tomorrow we will take another step in persona creation. But for today, during our minute of reflection, I want you to think about the study and does it relate to you? And then after our reflection, I'll get into today's homework and permissive circumstance. Today's homework plays a bit on the fantastical, and maybe tomorrow or later on I'll share with you an interesting story that I co-created with someone about another fantastical idea. It involves a library. But what I want you to do for your homework is to design in your head the most outlandish study that you would love to run. Unlimited funds and test subjects. You could even say you're doing this by adopting the persona of a highly regarded, or at least highly resourceful, scientist. And for a permissive circumstance, it's a holiday. You have my permission for release today if you're wearing socks at the time, and only socks. Pictures are welcome. Have a wonderful day.